Hello, UHL fans. It is week 7. The playoffs are almost here, and we have a really important match for you tonight. We have Storm Rage versus Illyri. The winner may very well be going to the playoffs. The loser may very well not. I am Wicked Good. I am here with Steffi. How you doing, Steffi?
I'm doing great. I had a yummy dinner. How are you doing, Wicked Good? How was your dinner?
My dinner was inhaled 5 minutes before the cast started. So
you like that gateway? I purposely said that, the gateway.
Yeah. So if we're a little bit late, you can thank Five Guys in Central Massachusetts for fueling this episode of this match. But so I'm also very excited to I had to wolf down my dinner as quickly as I could so that we were able to cast this as quickly as we can, because we have a really important match and I did not want to hold it up. And so we have Illyri and we have Storm Rage, and they are both really, really on the edge. I think the official league account tweeted out a picture of the standings right before this episode started.
Yeah.
And it's Illyri is 4-2, Storm Rage is 3-3, and also Red Knight is 4-2, fighting for those last couple of spots to get to because only 4 players will go to the next round of the playoffs where it's single elimination. And so what will be happening is that right now Illyri's in 3rd place and Red Knight is in 4th place. In 1st and 2nd place are Team Toast and Andrew is living, and I believe they are both guaranteed a spot on wins because they are both 5-1. So even if Illyri and Red Knight both win and Team Toast and Andrew are both to lose, they will still have more wins than Storm Rage could have. So they're guaranteed spots in the playoffs. Illyri, with a win, she is guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. If she loses, then she needs a little bit of help because Red Knight plays tomorrow, and Storm Rage, if he wins with 1 game loss, he is in, because the next tiebreaker is based on games lost. So if he wins 3-1, he's in. If he wins 3-2, then he needs a loss from Red Knight tomorrow in order to make it into the playoffs. And if he loses this match, he's out.
Oh, there's a lot riding on this match. That's basically what I just heard.
Yeah, that is more math than I really would have liked to do today. But that's what I do for you fine folks. So
exactly, that's why you're here.
Yeah. Yeah. So that being the case, so we have a druid, a rogue, and a warlock for Storm Rage, and we have a rogue, a warlock, and a hunter for Illyri. And it appears that the hunter's it's a spell hunter, a Tess Greymane tempo rogue, and a even warlock for Illyri. We have also an even warlock for Storm Rage. We have a token druid, and we have a miracle rogue for Storm Rage. So based on that, what are you thinking about how these lineups match up against each other?
Well, it sounds like they're more or less bringing competitive decks. Some of the decks, it looks like, have a little bit of uniqueness to them, but they're more or less kind of what we expect to see. So I think it's going to be pretty close. The token druid, having that deck alone might be an advantage because it's just so strong right now, but it's not a guaranteed win, you know? So, I mean, I think just looking at the decks alone, it's kind of hard to gauge, right? Like, I feel like it's going to be close. It's really going to be like how they are able to queue and things like that. Like if they, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. And I guess this is probably a good point where we should just take a second just to remind folks of the format really quickly, because because it is week 7, so we need to go back and just review what the format is. This is best of 5, no ban. And what happens is that normally there's a 3-week cycle when each player will choose 3 classes and then not be able to use them for the rest of the cycle. This being the last week of the regular season, there is no limitation on what those players can bring. They have the full set of 9 classes to bring, and they have no restrictions there. So it's going to be really up to the players to choose whatever the best classes are, and then we just kind of go from there. So without really any further ado, I think we probably should just get right. If we can let the players know that we're ready to get started, I think we should probably just go ahead and do that.
Sounds good. I just sent them a nice little message.
And and also, that will also give me a chance to fix whatever's going on with Discord. So I know that, if you're watching, I know that the video that Steffi's video is kind of freaking out a little bit, and I'll work on that.
Oh,
while
really?
we're
I'm sorry.
No, it's not you. It's OBS being annoying. So I'm not quite sure what's going on, and I'm trying to fix it, but it looks like something we're not gonna be able to fix in game, so we're just gonna have to kind of live with that for right now.
That's okay.
But in any event, we are underway. We have the Even Warlock for Storm Rage, and we have this Tempo Rogue from Illyri. And this is an interesting list. It looks like, based on the picture that she submitted, it looks like it was Dog's list originally.
Yeah, based off the title. And just some of the cards, I feel like he might have played this. I don't know how recently he played it, but it does look familiar to me, for sure. So it should be fun to see how this kind of goes out. It has like a lot of Burgle aspects of like discovering cards and getting cards from your opponent's class. So I'm interested to see how it performs.
Yeah, me too. So starting off with the Blink Fox and Storm Rage trying to get to those mountain giants as quickly as he possibly can, but not having the coin, not able to do that immediately, and having to kind of address this board a little bit in the meantime.
Yeah, you can definitely tell just by like how he's thinking right now that he's trying to be kind of mindful of the taps, just because it's already turn 2 and your opponent has 4 damage on board. So that can be intimidating. However, getting that Doomsayer, it's a pretty good pickup.
Yeah, that'll help. That helps clean that up in a hurry.
Yeah, especially when you get to follow up with a nice giant. Not a bad deal.
Yeah.
Even though we do see Illyri answering it very nicely, so it didn't quite accomplish what Storm Rage was wanting to do. But again, having these giants or the Drake, this is definitely not a bad for him. He has the best 4 drops that he can have in his deck.
Yeah. So Illyri is going to have to answer this mountain giant here. She's going to put a taunt up in the way to try to stop this this mountain giant from connecting. Storm Rage does have another one right behind it if he's going to so choose to do that. But this is a lot of damage coming in already. I mean, the Even Warlock does want to get down to 15 health eventually, but not this quickly and not without a Hooked Reaver in hand.
Yeah, and especially since, Illyri, her board is, like you said, pretty intimidating, and she still has a lot of cards in hand. Like, it's not like she just has a board and no resources, so she can still, by his view at least, it looks like she could still accomplish a lot. So he really wants to be mindful of his health.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Interesting that she chooses to just play the Elven Minstrel here.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah, well, I guess she found it interesting too. So, a little bit of a misstep there with the emote, and that's going to open up Storm Rage to be able to play this other mountain giant pretty safely. Interesting to see what he does with that. I'd love to see him just put the Sun Fury on just that and protect the 8/2, and that's exactly what he does. And then that's 8 damage connecting to face right away.
Yeah, I love that as well, because it makes, this mountain giant more likely to live, kind of, last, and they really have to deal with that 8 health, which can be difficult if she doesn't have the, the Slayer. And we can see in her hand that she doesn't. So it's going to be complicated to deal with 2 mountain giants as a rogue player.
Yeah, I mean, there are only so many Vilespine Slayers to go around.
She also doesn't have any saps as well, so she can't just like send it back really quick and cheap. She's being forced to deal with it.
Yeah, and I mean, she can try to find something off of a Blink Fox. Maybe she can get like a Corruption or something. It seems like maybe her best play at this point, and then at least she can take out one of them with the SI if she does that. It's still gonna be another. Yeah, it's still gonna be another 8 to face. Oh, that Vulgar Homunculus! It could help just getting more taunts in the way.
That's true. As long as her health doesn't get too low as well.
Yeah.
It could definitely help kind of slow down Storm Rage's deck.
Yeah, and though Storm Rage still has a bunch of gas, he has an Archit Commander if he wants to use it. If he just wants to push face, that'll bring Illyri down to 5 very quickly. Looks like he's looking at the Vulgar Homunculus to bring himself down to 12 and then heal up to 19 with the Spellstone, removing that SI. Yeah, and I mean, Illyri's still at 9, and she's still facing down a huge board of threats, and that Homunculus is going to help get in the way, but it's also going to bring her life total down in a deck where she really can't heal.
Yeah, she doesn't have any line of healing unless she's able to get a card from her opponent's class.
Yeah.
Off of the Blink Fox, for example, or if she drew her hallucination. So this is a really tough spot. Like, honestly, it just looks like throwing down taunts and hoping that, he can't get through it this turn.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like she's going to try to get something off the Blink Fox. I would have loved to see her throw that into the 8/5 to try to at least keep Storm Rage from being able to Hellfire through whatever taunt she has, because she does have the Saronite Chain Gangs in play. And those are going to die to the Hellfire, but at least, taking that health off of the giant would have helped a little bit. But she kind of needs to hurry because she doesn't know what she's going to get off this Blink Fox.
Yeah, I agree. And if it's something that's not going to do much.
That Deathweb Spider would have been nice a little bit ago, but and this Hellfire is going to end the game, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's enough.
Yeah. And then the hit to face, and that's it. And that's game 1. Very quickly over to Storm Rage. So what I think I'm going, and again, I apologize for the video from the webcam, because I don't know what's going on with it, and my computer's being annoying today. So
should I turn off my camera?
Maybe you know what we can do is, while I tell all the nice people about Patreon, I might close out Discord and then bring you back in.
Okay.
So we can try to do that. So let me. I'm just gonna throw up the rules card just to have that in place while I do that. So we'll try to do that, and I will call you right back while I'm telling all the nice people about the fact that that all of this action is brought to you by Patreon, by viewers like you. The community's really come together really well. I think we're all really happy with how this season is going. We want to do more of it. We're already starting our planning for season 3, and we really want to be able to do a lot more of this, to be able to help bring the community together through all of this, this wonderful league that we're all a part of. And, that doesn't help without your support. So you can go to UnitedHearthstoneLeague.com. That has the information. You can go to Patreon.com/UnitedHSLeague, and that will have all the information about what you can do, how you can donate, what the different tiers are, and how you can help support the league and help it grow for future seasons. And we do want to make sure to thank our featured patron Run this month for being the top patron and really stepping up to help the league. So we appreciate it, and we want to be able to do more of that. So thank you very much to Run and to everybody who's contributed. And even if you haven't contributed yet, there's still time, so you can go ahead and go right over and do that. So Steffi, welcome back.
Happy to be back.
It looks like whatever I tried did not fix it, so we're just gonna go with it. But your face is there. It's just there's this weird black box that's kind of flipping in and out. I don't know why OBS needs me today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you got a strobe light on you. So you know. It's...
You know what? I'm not mad at it.
So Stormrage has that Warlock through. He's either got the Miracle Rogue or the Druid, and I mean, it's from Illyri's perspective, those decks could basically be anything. Like we know that they're the Miracle Rogue and the Token Druid. That could be a Taunt Druid. That could be a Togwaggle Druid. That could be a Quest Druid. That could be an Odd Rogue. That could be even Kingsbane Rogue has been the thing that I've seen. So, do you just go back to the Warlock as Illyri? Or not the Warlock, the Rogue, and try to get a win with that? I mean, clearly she thinks that that's the deck that she wants to start with, or does she try to target one of these two with one of these decks?
I feel like that's kind of tricky, just because, especially with these two classes specifically, there are multiple decks that it could be that are kind of different, and you have different strategies on how to beat them, right? So I'm sure, like, she's probably sitting there like, this is pretty difficult to kind of cue into. So, I mean, if I were her, I think I'd probably just stick with the Rogue, because her build can be kind of consistent. It could go either way, dealing, and, like, you know, and just kind of hope for the best. Hope that she can deal with whatever, you know, he brings out. Yeah,
I mean, the Tempo Rogue can kind of just get a start and get going. So hopefully, you know, that'll work out. We'll see what she decides to do, but I think we can let them head in, and we'll see what they have in store for us.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm still happy that both players decided to bring Rogue. It's my favorite class, and I love just watching Rogue matches, and especially now that we get Miracle Rogue back, like it's a thing again. It just makes me so happy to see it in play and in action.
Yeah, I'm just happy that Kingsbane Rogue is not one of the real legitimate options, because that deck and I do not we don't get along.
Do you guys have some history?
We have a little bit of... I mean, I'm a priest player, right? I don't like Kingsbane. Okay. That's not my favorite thing to see. But we do have Stormrage going over to the Miracle Rogue, and Illyri swaps out to the Even Warlock. We see... This seems like a pretty good hand for Stormrage to start with, and it looks like a full keep from him. Illyri has a bunch of pieces that none of those look like giants. So I would imagine you're probably going to toss all of them back.
I don't need any of these.
Yeah.
There could be some argument for keeping cooldown, but since she doesn't know what she's playing against, like if this was, you know, a faster build, she wouldn't want to keep them. So I agree with the full mulligan as well.
And do you ever keep that against any rogue even? Because I mean, even a Miracle Rogue, you don't expect really to live until turn 10, do you?
That's true. I mean, I guess it just depends. Maybe because it is specifically Rogue, you probably just don't need him. Like, that's not how you win the game.
Yeah.
Both players are really good at getting giants in their hand. You notice that?
Yeah. It's, I mean, it's kind of funny when you hard mulligan for it and then you can tap for the first couple turns. It's you could work the odds out pretty well.
That's true.
Illyri thinking about putting this homunculus up, I would imagine... I don't know that this Firefly is a super threat, but Cold Blood is a card.
Yeah, she could be thinking about the Cold Blood.
Yeah.
Things like that. Just, you know, wanting to protect herself as early on as possible.
Yeah. So this is a nice wall for Stormrage to work through. I mean... Ideally, I guess he wants to get that Hench Clan Thug down on 3, and I guess, but even then, that doesn't really. I guess he could backstab Coin SI, but that feels awful to get.
Yeah, that's a lot of resources.
Yeah, backstab and double trade is a few less resources. It still probably doesn't feel great, but at least gets rid of the taunt.
Yeah, it does kind of remove the threat.
Yeah,
a little bit. And I get it sets up nicely for him to be able to play the Thug next turn without it being damaged. Since right now there's no minion on board, so he probably feels safer to get it out.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I don't know that you really want to just play the Sun Fury down by itself. That's really her only option at this point. I don't think that's not enough value against this Miracle Rogue to really warrant anything, especially with the Mountain Giant in hand. And
yeah, she has
yeah.
the Drake too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like she's not going to get any value out of it, and I think she would rather have the taunt later on.
Yeah. So that Hench Clan Thug is ready to go, and the attack in will make that a 4/4. Illyri can play the Drake out now just to challenge that. She does have a Spellbreaker also, but that's just going to get traded off. But then again, the Thug is going to get a value trade into the Dragon if she does play that out. So it's kind of close, actually. But I would imagine you probably want to save that Spellbreaker for a big Edwin, and it would feel pretty bad throwing that down on a Thug.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's probably better to save it for an Edwin, or I don't even like.
Or Gadgets and Auctioneer, as worst comes to worst. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot better targets than a Hench Clan Thug. Like, this is scary, but there are scarier things.
Yeah.
And this Sap is going to answer that Dragon, and that. Speaking of Thugs getting scary, that's exactly what this Thug is doing.
I will say she did top deck the Hooked Reaver though, so that can definitely help her later on when her health starts to get lower. Because right now, you know, she has a lot of 4-mana minions, but it's not really clear what she should be doing yet. So I see her hovering over the silence, so maybe she will silence it now.
I mean, I kind of like a 4-mana 7/7.
I also like a 4-mana 7/7, especially after you just saw a Sap.
Yeah, and here's an Auctioneer into the hands, and a plan starting to come together with Storm Rage with all of these spells in play, in hand rather. Can clear this off with a Flame Elemental SI or a Fan of Knives in a trade with the dagger, though I don't know if he wants to face tank 7 to do this.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to face tank.
I guess he could Shiv too. Oh, yeah. I mean, he can do the... Actually, he doesn't need anything else if he...
If he decides to Shiv.
Yeah. I mean, he could also face tank it, and then it's still going to die. So there's not really any point in that. Oh, it looks like that is the play. Okay.
He decided to face tank. All right.
Wow.
Look, he's not scared of anything today.
Wow. Yeah. So, full hand for Illyri. This Mountain Giant is at 3 mana. And you have a Sun Fury Protector behind it. Looking at the Ooze to get rid of the weapon, protecting against another Hench Clan Thug. The tap and then playing the Mountain Giant after that. That's a pretty good turn.
That's a pretty good turn.
Yeah.
Leroy top deck. Whew.
Yeah, and Storm Rage is getting close. I mean, that's 6 damage. Illyri's at 13. And, you know, chose to get rid of the weapon rather than taunting up the Mountain Giant.
Yeah, this is true. And what we can see, you know, with having our lovely caster vision, she doesn't have any spellstones in hand. So right now, she doesn't have a way to heal. She also doesn't have that lovely minion who I'm blanking on his name. Beetle
or the Shroom Brewer?
The Shroom Brewer, that lovely gentleman. Yeah. She also doesn't have him right now. So she doesn't have a way to heal. I'm impressed with that tap there. That was a very bold tap, but she's going through her deck and she has a lot of really strong minions in her hand, so it seems to be working for her.
Yeah. So going in on the Auctioneer is Storm Rage, and he's got a bunch of spells that don't really do anything to stop an 8/8.
That's true.
Looks like we're shiving face and playing out a Flame Elemental. And passing the turn over to Illyri, and Illyri has ways to deal with this. She can trade the Ooze and play the 6-drop. She finally does pick up a Spellstone, and that 6-drop would power up the Spellstone, but and would still leave it at 11, which is still a scary life total, but is not the worst in the world.
Yeah, her opponent would need very specific cards to be able to deal with that. Like, yes, it's expected to be mindful of Leroy Cold Blood. We know that's 10 damage for 6 mana, but like without the dagger, like, you know, he would need prep into a Shiv or prep into Eviscerate or prep into another Cold Blood. So that's a lot of cards to be able to enter. But I mean, it also is scary.
It would basically be Leroy Cold Blood at this point.
Yes, exactly.
Which is not out of the question with 15 cards, you know, with him drawing half his deck, and we can see two parts of that. But it looks like she is seeing the Dread Infernal play. She kind of needs to... Oh, no, it looks like... Okay, we're just going to Spellbreaker. We're going to Spellbreaker and taunt up. I like this, too. And taunting up the non-giants. So, protecting the health on the giant, bringing Storm Rage down to 10, forcing him to have an answer this turn, or he's going to run out of life, because he doesn't have any ways to heal either. He doesn't even have Shroom Burst.
Yeah, so this is going to force him to have to use his resources that he has.
Yeah, I like that play a lot, actually. And no Vile Spines in hand for Storm Rage either. This is all of a sudden this flipped around on its head. And Storm Rage is on the back foot and needs to find a way out of this. Yeah,
that's pretty scary. She's very smart with, like you said, not taunting up that mountain giant to just protect it. Because just by looking at hand, Storm Rage does not have a clean way to get rid of damage to keep him alive.
No.
Because we see the Hellfire in hand, in Illyri's hand. So even if he's able to clear some of this stuff, he's still very vulnerable.
Yeah, and it looks like... Okay, so it looks like we're going to use the SI to clear off one minion. We can clear off... We can trade the 4/3 off, but... Actually, he can clear the... He can clear the giant, yeah. With Eviscerate and Cold Blood on the 1/2. Or just Cold Blood on the 4/4. That does it also. Yeah. And then that just leaves the 2/3 behind. So he got there. It took all 75 seconds, but Storm Rage got there.
He saw it. He saw the plays.
Yeah. And Doomsayer in hand for Illyri. She has an 8 mana, so that Lich King is live if she wants it. She can use this Dread Infernal. That doesn't really... And she could use a Dread Infernal and a Defile for a full clear if she wants to do it that way. That would still leave her with a 6, probably 3, I think. Math is hard right now. And that would also pump up her Spellstone to be able to utilize next turn, but would also... And she's already C1 Cold Blood, so Leroy Cold Blood is still a threat, but not as much of a threat.
Yeah, I also actually kind of like the... Vulgar into the Spellstone play as well, because you know your opponent, or at least it's safe to assume that they don't have the Vile Spine Slayer to get through anything, because we probably would have seen it last turn.
Right.
And like just how he was forced to clear, you know, it wasn't convenient. So you probably feel safer kind of throwing those things down.
Yeah. The Twilight Drake into the Spellstone is fine. I mean, that's the same amount of healing that she would have gotten with the Vulgar and the Spellstone, so that's okay. It looks like Shiv Trade to get rid of this. Ooh. Oh, and that Vile Spine.
That top deck though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Miracle Rogue's gonna find what they need eventually if they live long enough.
It's true, and you know, Storm Rage only has 12 cards left in his deck, so he still has, as we can see, he needs a few more pieces to kind of get there, but you know, he's getting through his deck pretty quickly. As is Illyri, she's already at 14 cards, so she's already a little bit more than halfway through. This is kind of a tough turn for her too, because she can just opt to throw down the Lich King, to just kind of get something scary on board to attest the board and threaten lethal. But, you know, I like how she's taken the time to really think about it, go through all of her options, because she has a lot of high-value cards in her hand that can put some pressure on.
Yeah. And having a long think about it, I mean, this is a pretty critical turn. Again, while the Dread Infernal Defile would not clear this up, a Lich King is... You know, when all else fails, drop Arthas.
Right, he is a thing. We've heard him to be a little scary.
And I mean, you've seen a Vile Spine, you've seen a Cold Blood. There's the other one, unfortunately for Illyri. And Storm Rage is creeping up on that life total, and Illyri needs to find some of that healing. The Anti-Magic Shell is not really what she wants. Another Mountain Giant will help, but with no way to taunt it up. Still no Shroom Brewer. Still one Spellstone missing. Still no Gul'dan.
Yeah, this is unfortunately a very sticky board and a scary board. I'm sure there are some cute defile plays that she potentially do with maybe the. She's at 10 mana, so she could probably do something with the Dread Infernal as well as the.
Yeah, I mean, Hellfire Defile would do it, but that's that's just putting you into Leroy range.
Yeah, that's too risky.
Yeah.
But then again, we have the vision. We are the casters. We
but even without the vision, you have to be thinking about Leroy on every turn when you're playing against a Miracle Rogue. I mean, it just so happens that he has it, but he could also not. She may have no choice but to Hellfire Defile this board. She could put her homunculus in front of it, behind it rather, and then at least she's gonna be at 3, but at least she's got a taunt in the way.
That's true. So we know that you know he won't be able to just play Leroy.
Yeah, so that's going to that's gonna hopefully let her live for one more turn. But this second Gadget Set Auctioneer in the prep might have something to say about that. There's the Strider. No more spells, so it's a matter of whether Stormrage wants to dig some minions. Edwin and an SI, and that is the last line of defense there. Hooked Reaver right on time.
Wow, yeah, that's a
huge pickup.
Good taunt.
Because she could I mean, she still doesn't have any solution for the Auctioneer, but at least she can kill off the 3/2 and put a 7/7 in the way.
Yeah, she can also play the Hooked Reaver into the Anti-Magic Shell.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and then you kill off the Auctioneer with that. Yeah, I love that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, because that way you can't even target it with, even better. Do it with the Giant.
Yeah. Giant and the Hooked Reaver, yeah. Big boys, let's go.
Threaten everything.
Yeah. There's a Cold Blood. But that Cold Blood, yeah.
Oh, it looks like that's lethal.
That is lethal. If Stormrage sees it, because he can
lethal spotted.
Yeah, he can dagger into the 2/1, put the Cold Blood, play Leroy, and then Cold Blood the Auctioneer to take out the 7/7. If he sees it. I don't know if he sees it yet. Right,
yeah, it's because, usually when you're thinking of these cards, you think of them together, and you don't necessarily think of, let me, play the Leroy and then the Cold Blood onto the agent, or so.
Yeah, but at 3, you only need to get... Leroy just needs to make his way through.
He's doing it the cute way.
Yeah, either way, it doesn't matter. He gets some style points for using the SI, but... yeah. And then that Leroy connects, and that is a 2-0.
That is Miracle Rogue doing Miracle Rogue things.
Yep, that is exactly what that is. And so we're going to go to a game 3 with Stormrage only with his even Warlock left. And going up against whatever Illyri decides to bring out at this point. Oh, sorry, not with the even Warlock, with his Token Druid.
With the Token Druid.
So he gets 3 shots with the Token Druid. Again, if he wins If he wins either of the next 2 games, he is in the playoffs, guaranteed, I believe. I mean, my math skills are not great at 8:45 at night, but I believe that either a win of either of the next 2 games gets him into the playoffs. A win in the 3rd game would get him in with some help.
Exactly.
So we are, and we just want to remind you, take a second to remind you of the next couple games going on. There is another match, believe later tonight. Ooh. On Ridiculous Hat stream, not on the main channel, with Ziggy Sarah versus Ridiculous Hat, and then bright and early at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning, Red Knight will be playing that other game that we've been mentioning, and he is going to have quite a challenge in front of him, because he is playing against Team Toast, and Team Toast's representative this week is Karakute, who is a very well-known Hearthstone player from the Philippines, who's competed in Hearthstone Global Games, as well as and she just missed HCT Winter Championships in the Bahamas last year. So Red Knight does not have a clear path to the playoffs either way. That is quite a challenge he has ahead of him. So that'll be fun to watch as well.
was going to say, that sounds like a nice, fun little battle. So you
Yeah.
guys want to make sure you tune into that one, because that's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I mean, and it's only fair because, I mean, you and I casted Stormrage and Edelweiss last week. So it's only fair that you know, his main competitor for that last spot has a similar challenge ahead of him. But that'll be a fun match to watch.
Make them earn it now.
Yeah. So I think we can let the players go, and then it's going to be on Illyri to beat this token druid 3 times, which is no easy task.
It's not an easy task. Especially, like, looking at her decks, she does have she's great removal in the Warlock, so I'm not too concerned about that. So if she decides to stick with the even Warlock, I actually think that'd be really smart on her end, because she'll be able to remove.
Yeah, and that is exactly what she's going to do. Yeah.
That's very smart on her end.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned, you know, with the Rogue and the Hunter. It might be a little bit more tricky to kind of figure out how you're going to deal with your opponent if they are able to develop these boards. Because we know Token Druid can develop some really nasty boards that are hard to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, the secrets will help a little bit. At least it's not Recruit Hunter, because that's just like, forget it.
Yeah.
But we have a ways to go. We're not there yet. We still have this even Warlock matchup, and Stormrage is not finding... He does have a Nourish, but he has a couple turns before he gets there. Does have a Spreading Plague in hand that can maybe answer a Giant should it appear, which it just... there's already one in hand for Illyri, and she has a second one, which is exactly what she wants.
Really good at drawing Giants.
Hey.
I love it.
Not sure if I love the Doomsayer there.
I think I would prefer seeing that on turn 4. Yeah, I know exactly what you're thinking. Or, excuse me, on turn 3 to kind of prepare for her turn 4 to ensure that it, you know, stays. But, you know.
Well, with the coin, she could actually have gotten the Giant down this turn had she not played the Doomsayer there. But, you know, it's taking Stormrage plenty of time to get ramped up, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. This Homunculus is just going to kind of stand there for right now, and Stormrage is going to ramp himself up to 7 mana, but is not going to be able to deal with this taunt right away.
Oh, it looks like he's actually opting to draw.
To draw. Interesting. Oh, and then does get that Arcane Tyrant down.
Ooh, that was a good pickup for him.
Yeah. So the Giant does come down for Illyri, and the 2 damage to face, and... Interesting to see what Stormrage does here. Picks up both Souls of the Forest and both Whispering Woods. Just needs the mana to get there.
Yeah, he has both of his pieces to the silly token combo.
Yeah. And it looks like we're just going to build a board right now.
Interesting. That's a very aggressive line to play. I guess, you know, he's basically like, make her have it. Make her have a Defiler. Make her have, you know...
Yeah,
the Hellfire.
I mean, she does have the Hellfire, so she can.
She does.
She can do that. I would imagine she's going to. I don't know that she really has any other way to handle that. I mean, she could coin Dread Infernal. That's another way to deal with that, which I kind of like, just given that there's no Soul of the Forest behind this. But does decide to use the Hellfire and then hit face with the Giant. Putting Stormrage back down to 19 and Violet Teacher into hand. He really does need to deal with this Giant, though. I don't think he can afford to just put up another board and make Illyri deal with it, because she will, and he'll hit him in the face again for 8.
Yeah, this is pretty awkward for Stormrage, because he has a lot of his combo pieces and cards, but they're just not doing much right now.
Oof. Yeah.
We do see him clearing that Giant, though.
Yeah,
it's just
I mean,
not the way that I'm sure he would like it to be.
That's not. I mean, you're not gonna get points for style, but at least you got it out of the way. There's a Defile in hand for Illyri, which you must be very happy to see. This Giant is gonna come down, and then one of the spellstones that she activated with the coin could take care of that Teacher.
Yeah, this is just a beautiful play on Illyri's part. Being able to deal with it, get her health up, and a Giant back on board.
Yep, and then heals up to 24 on top of it too. I mean, Stormrage can go Whispering Wood, Soul of the Forest, but it's very likely to get answered, and then you're really putting yourself down to, I mean, you're not looking at many lethals if she doesn't run like Argent Commanders. But if she does, he has no way of knowing if she does or not. And some builds do run those.
Exactly. It depends how aggressive they've, built it to be.
Do you have to just play a Spreading Plague here?
I think that's what he's mulling over because he top decked the Arcane Tyrant.
Yeah.
He can always go into Spread and Plague into the Tyrant to get another body on board.
Yeah.
This is just kind of, this hand. He has a lot of good resources, but like double Savage Roar, it's just not doing a lot for him right now.
Yeah.
As well as, the double of the Soul of the Forest. He's just not able to utilize these at this moment.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if he could just get these giants to go away, he'd be happier. But it looks like he's just gonna take a chance. And I don't, he's up 2-0. This is a bad matchup anyway. I don't necessarily hate taking the chance.
No, I don't hate taking the chance either.
But Defile and Dread Infernal is going to be 8 mana, so Illyri's not going to be able to answer that, but she could trade into one of these tokens with the Giant and Defile, and that should clear everything up. She could always Shroom Brewer it after the fact, too. I believe that's a Shroom Brewer in her hand. Yeah, it is.
So let's see. If she trades, she'll have 1, 2. Yeah, that would be a full clear.
It's going to be a matter of how much experience she has with this matchup to know if that's something that she can do, because it's, it's the kind of thing that...
Oh.
Oh, well, that helps, too. That's a much easier clear if she wants it that way.
Yeah, if she doesn't see the other play. Because like you said it perfectly, it just has to do with experience. Playing against the deck, playing with the deck. If you don't, have it, that's not as obvious,
And
play.
this the animation is gonna be getting in the way. She is gonna have to use that Hellfire to clear the rest. That's both copies of Whispering Woods Gone.
That is both copies.
And by the way, Storm Rage is at 1. So this Dread Infernal, if he doesn't armor up here, this Dread Infernal is actually just going to be lethal.
Yeah, and he doesn't have enough to Wrath into Hero Power.
So he's going to want to Wrath that, I would imagine. And if he does not Hero Power, then this Dread Infernal is going to be lethal.
Yeah. The alternative play is he could just Wrath it, Hero Power, and play the Tyrant.
Yeah.
But he just wants to play it out so he has a body on board.
Yeah, that looks like what he's going to do. It looks like he was thinking about the Spreading Plague, and then he realized, oh, wait, I'm at 1.
Yes. I don't have the mana to do everything I want to do.
Yeah. And I mean, ultimately, you've seen both Hellfires, so you're not worried about too many things, but Dread Infernal has to be one of them.
Yes.
Really good recognition for him not just going with that Spreading Plague Wrath play, because that would have been disastrous.
Yeah, that would have been... He would have been over.
Yeah. So Illyria can answer this with the Spellstone if she wants to. Tapping to get herself into Hooked Reaver territory, looks like.
Yeah.
Like that a lot. And then this Swamp Ooze is a 2-mana 3/2 that's just going to come down behind it for some redundancy. And that Branching Paths is a phenomenal top deck for Storm Rage. He still has problems ahead of him, but being able to heal for 12 right now has got to be very tempting, especially with both Whispering Woods gone.
Now, how about...
Yeah, that is so tempting. Like, maybe you're like, oh, armor and draw, but I don't know. I know if I was in his shoes too, I'd be very tempted to, just double armor, get that health back, because this is scary.
I mean, I guess the question is, how do you ever win this game? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is a legitimate question right now, because he's used up all of his resources drawing out the AoE. He's going to put the Soul of the Forest on these 2 1/5s and try to push through, and that would be 2, 4, 8, 12, 13. That would actually be lethal if the taunt goes away. The double Savage Roar would be.
Yeah, that would be. And especially because he has branching paths as well to give him the plus attack.
Yeah.
So I think the question that you were asking before, like, how do I win this game? I think that's what he was thinking about when he made this play. Like, he's trying to be realistic. It's like, I can either use my resources to kind of prolong things, or maybe I can make the play that if she doesn't have these certain resources, are just going to win me the game.
Yep. Or the Spellbreaker just ends it, and that is that, and it's not an issue.
Exactly.
So that is 2-1 back to Illyri picking up that win with her even Warlock, and I think we could probably just let the players go on from here.
Yes.
And just then not make them sweat it out any longer. I would say let's let them get these other 2 games out. So again, this game is as important as the regardless of Stormrage could give up this game and not lose the match, but then he needs a lot of help from Red Knight in order to get into the playoffs. So Stormrage, this is effectively a match point for him anyway. Like, he does not want this to go to a 5-game set.
Right. He wants this. He wants to close it out this game.
Right.
I'm going to be very interested to see what Illyri picks.
Yeah.
What she best matchup against the Token Druid. Because just me personally looking at the list, like, I don't know if I see a clear-cut deck with advantage,
Yeah. I mean, I guess Explosive Trap into that board, and that's exactly what we're going to see as the Hunter.
Yeah.
Explosive Trap into that board at least stops the threat because the 2/2s have Summoning Sickness.
Right.
So, I mean, that's why I was playing yesterday a Control Mage that runs Abomination for that same reason. Because,
That's true.
Because then you can just you kill off the first wave and then you can deal with the second. The problem is the Hunter doesn't really have a good way of dealing with the second wave.
Yeah, she does. It looks like she does run the Death Knight as well. So that could be a way to help. And she has Unleashed the Hounds. So, like, there are cute ways to deal with it. So, I guess it's just going to be all about using the resources and how she goes about it.
And a Spellstone in the opening hand could make it moot, too. Like, if you just drop four 3/3s on turn 5, then it doesn't really matter how many things they have. Excuse me.
Exactly.
So...
you have to worry about what you have.
Yeah, she does need the secrets to power that up. She gets the Candle Shot and the Hunter's Mark to start with. And we do see Rexar in the opening hand to help out, too. That Wild Growth is something that Stormrage was missing last game. And again, no secrets but an Eaglehorn Bow. Not sure if she wants that. I don't think that's really what she needs right now. But the Animal Companion could start to pressure at least.
Yeah, Animal Companion's, a great turn 3 for hunters. Yeah. Since she drew the other weapon, she could feel comfortable to start hitting with her candle shot. I'm like, wait, what's this one called? Candle something. Oh, and of course you get the Huffer.
Always Huffer.
Naturally. Always Huffer.
So Spreading Plague will help Stormrage later. He can Wrath this off or Spellstone it, whichever. Not really much else for him to do unless he decides he wants to use one of these branching paths for draw, but I would imagine those are a little bit too valuable at this point this early.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just an awkward mana number with what's in his hand, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what he'll do here because I guess I could see a couple different routes. It's just deciding what's the best and most efficient.
Yeah. I mean, there's even an argument maybe for, like, wrathing it and face tanking it just to get the draw.
Yeah, that was another one I saw, too. Like,
yeah.
There's a couple ways, you could go about it.
I mean, with both branching paths in hand, you at least know that you can heal up if you need to. I don't know... Like, I literally crafted 2 copies of Whispering Woods this afternoon. And then I spent the time that I was going to be playing the deck running to 5 guys, so I don't know if that's the right play or not, but it's like these early turns just feel so difficult because, like, if you're playing Taunt Druid, you just throw out the branching paths and draw. Like,
right.
That's an easy turn for you if you're Taunt Druid. As Token Druid, that is part of your win condition. You really don't want to do that this early.
No, I agree. I mean, it's also unfortunate, too, because Stormrage hasn't been drawing his Oaken Summons.
Yeah.
Which is such a solid turn 4 play, gain the armor and get, like, Violet Teacher out onto the board, start doing things.
Yeah. So he's gonna sacrifice one of these branching paths for card draw, and he finds more card draw in spades with a Nourish and an Ultimate Infestation. So that definitely opened up his hand a lot. Tracking into the hand for Illyria, I would imagine she wants some sort of secret to try to get this Spellstone online.
No, I 100% agree with that. She really does need the Spellstone to kind of put some pressure onto the board and get things going.
Looks like she disagrees. She's just gonna try to push damage. Use up the rest of that Candle Shot, put the Eagle Horn Bow online. And ramp for days for Storm Rage. Is gonna get He's gonna get that that Nourish online. He can Wild Growth again if he wants to set up for the UI. What is he using this coin for? Another branching path. It's interesting. So he's gonna armor up here.
Yeah, he's just decided. He's made up his mind.
Yeah.
I guess, but he has the Ultimate Infestation in his hand. He knows he's not going to need it for draw anymore.
Yeah.
So let's just go back to 30.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you don't necessarily need it for draw, but you might want it for damage, right? I mean, Illyria's still at 29. That's another true. Savage Roar. I don't know if that that was better than Wild Growth and even Coin Hero Power might have been better to leave that available, but again I spent my token druid time driving to Five Guys, so I don't know if that's right or not. Yeah, I think you have to use this tracking now.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know that. I mean, you still after this you can still flanking strike arcane shot if you want to, but Rat Trap actually feel like it sucks giving up a kill command and a to my side here, but with the Spellstone in hand, Rat Trap actually feels really good.
Yeah, it feels more efficient just with her hand.
But she is going to go with that to my side, and then
interesting.
Face with the weapon. Yep, that's where it looks like it's going, and
she's over this armor. She's just like, what, we're just gonna start going for it.
Yep, another Arcane Tyrant comes down, and Storm Rage is gonna start pushing what face damage he can. There's a secret finally.
That is really good. It's interesting that he opted to not play the Wild Growth, just because he's gonna draw into a 5th card. So if he decides to play Ultimate Infestation, with both Arcane Tyrants played, he's gonna end up milling a card.
He's almost certainly gonna mill a card because he's already drawn both Tyrants, right? Unless he runs an Innervate in his list, which I don't think he does.
Yeah, he doesn't. So that's very interesting. That he opted to not play the Wild Growth there. But again, that's probably just something out of mind. That's not something you're normally thinking of.
Yeah. What's awkward now for Illyria is that she really wants to play that secret, but now at this point, you really want to save that specific secret, the Explosive Trap, to answer one of these boards.
Exactly.
So maybe you just play the to my side, see what you get, and then use either like a Hunter's Mark or an Arcane Shot to try to help you clean up.
Yeah, I think at this point, especially because she ended up picking up the tracking, it's probably better to just kind of high roll and see what you get.
Yeah. So it looks like Hunter's Mark, Arcane Shot to answer one of them, and then she is going to just play out that Explosive Trap. Oh, she's actually setting this up to use the Explosive Trap to clear off the Arcane Tyrants. Yeah. There's a Savage Roar. At least that keeps Storm Rage from doing that right now. Though I don't think he'd want to use that to push this damage here.
Yeah, and I think, on his end, it's probably really obvious to him what that is.
Yeah. And he's just gonna UI the face and let the burn go where it may.
Give himself a nice 5/5 on the board.
Yep.
And let's just hope you don't mill a really good, combo component.
Still no Whispering Woods in hand. Does have one Soul of the Forest, but both Whispering Woods still in the deck with 12 cards left. So to my side gonna come out here. And Huffer with the Leok can answer this 5/5.
Yeah, that was a nice
that's a good
high roll there.
Yeah.
The one Violet teacher gone.
Okay, that's not.
That's not
terrible.
the worst. Yeah, we're saying how he doesn't have all the combo pieces yet, but that definitely could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
So he's able to get the second one out now too, and start developing up this board.
Yeah. Yeah, using the Wrath for card draw can even Wild Growth into the excess mana to get 2 more tokens on board, and there's finally is the Whispering Woods.
It showed up to the party.
Yeah.
It's ready to go.
And Illyri can answer this board with the Rexar and the Weapon Charge.
Mm-hmm.
The next one might be a little bit more difficult.
Yes. Definitely. Especially because we've already seen one explosive trap used already. Yeah, that's going to be, and I'm guessing we're going to be seeing the Whispering Woods into the Soul Forest next turn coming from Storm Rage, because, he's that nice full hand. He'll get full value.
Yeah.
Almost full value. So.
Yeah, and especially after having seen the Rexar come out, which I think Illyri's trying to figure out any way to not use this Rexar right now, but I don't think there is one. She's touching the flanking strike, seeing if there's some sort of like weird flanking strike play that she could do, but double Savage Roar is 4 and 8 is 12, and another 8 is 20. That could just be lethal right there. Spectate mode deciding to throw the Spellstone in the way for good reason. So she's going to build up a board, but I think that double Savage Roar might just be lethal.
Yeah, that's lethal. Yeah, so that's 5,
and
10,
that's
15, 24. 25 with hero power. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's what's so scary about this Token Druid is you leave up this board of these little dinky minions.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're charging in for 20 damage, and that's the game.
They're leaving their mark.
Yeah.
These little guys.
Yeah, so, congratulations to Storm Rage. Looks like he may have punched his ticket into the playoffs. And
yeah, he played those very well.
Yeah, and getting the things mixed up on the screen. But yeah, that was congratulations to Storm Rage, played very well, and Illyri too. Those were some very difficult games, and it just comes down to that Token Druid. Again, in this week 7 without a ban, that Token Druid is so strong that if you're in a position where you have to get 3 wins against it, it's just such a tall order.
Yeah, it's very intimidating, especially because a lot of us, they play Hearthstone frequently, who, dab around on ladder. We see it all over the place. We know how strong it is. You watch DreamHack, you see how strong it is. So it can definitely be not just understanding how the deck works, but kind of like a mind game as well.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how am I supposed to deal with one of the best, decks in the meta right now.
Yeah, it's such a difficult order to do, and especially it's so new that there aren't really defined strategies of how to deal with it yet. It's definitely not like either token. There have been Token Druid decks before.
Yes.
But one of them just yogged you to death, and the other one was running Vicious Fledglings on one and didn't give you a chance to react at all. This one is a little bit slower and it gives you time to react, but it doesn't really, because that the damage is coming, but it's like the scene at the end of the horror film where somebody's caught in the basement with the killer and it's already too late.
Right, and you're still surprised. You're like, oh, where did you come from?
Don't open the door! What are you doing? Don't open the door!
As they open the door.
Yeah.
I was messaging the players to see if anybody was available for an interview. Yeah. Unfortunately, Illyri isn't because she's packing for a trip.
Okay.
She's about to get ready to leave, but Storm Rage is available.
Okay, so I will see if I can drag him into this.
Awesome.
So let's see. I'm gonna try to do that, and I have no idea if this is gonna work or not, but we're gonna try it.
Discord.
Discord has not been my friend tonight.
What did we do to you, Discord? What did we do?
Actually, how do I do that? That's an interesting question because I'm pressing.
I can do it.
Yeah. What?
I got you.
Okay. All right. So why don't you add him in, and we'll see if that can work. I'm I feel like the piano player in like Def Leppard right now with just like too many things going on all at the same time.
You good? You got it?
Yeah. Congratulations.
Oh, hello.
Thank you.
So I mean, my math skills at this time of night are not great, but I think that probably punched your ticket to the playoffs.
I genuinely don't know about tiebreakers, but that gives us the same record. So I think I break over that.
So my understanding of how it works is that it goes by match wins and game wins, and then fewest games lost.
Mm-hmm.
So as of before the match, you were at 3-3, and Illyria and Red Knight were both at 4-2. You had 15 games won, and Illyria had 16, and Red Knight had 14. So
correct.
By winning 3, you go up to 18. Illyria is at 17, and Red Knight can't catch you because he's at 14, even if he wins his next match. So I think that locks you into the playoffs.
Oh, that feels so good. Oh my god. Oh, it's so weird to be so relieved and excited about this.
So congratulations.
Aw, good.
I mean, especially after us all being together last week with that loss against Edelweiss. I mean, it must be a huge relief to be able to get through against, and Illyria is a very tough competitor.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, she's incredible. Absolutely. There's a reason was at the top of the league for a very long time. She's amazing.
Yeah. So, when did you pick up the Token Druid? Like, how long have you been playing that? Because it is obviously a very recent deck in the meta.
I would say about 3 hours.
Nice.
Well, you did pretty well for 3 hours.
Amount of time.
Yeah. I was actually saying on the cast that I just crafted Whispering Woods today to try to prep for this match, and I got 1 game in, and then unexpectedly had to run to Five Guys to rescue a burned dinner. So, we're trying to figure out what the best line is, and some things looked a little, some of the stuff in the Warlock game looked a little bit ambitious, but the Warlock is such a bad matchup anyway that you just kind of have to take some of the risks where you can. But are you
talking about turn 8 where I went Whispering Woods into Soul of the Forest, praying to God she did not have a double clear?
Yeah. And she actually,
a little ambitious.
Yeah, a little ambitious, but I mean, how confident were you? I mean, were you sweating bullets through those last couple of games with the Token Druid, having only played it for 3 hours?
Yeah, I would say that's an understatement. My thought process was, Amnesiac can do this deck, so can I. Okay. And then I went, wait a second, I'm not Amnesiac. This is a mistake.
Amnesiac also skipped his prom for a Hearthstone tournament, so I don't know if you're willing to make that kind of level of commitment, but...
That's tough. I mean, shout out to him. That kid's insane.
So, Stephanie, anything you picked up that you wanted to ask about?
I just kind of wanted to just general comments. I felt like you did a really good job though playing all 3 of your decks. I know that you said that you were really nervous about how to go about playing the Token Druid, but I felt like you played it beautifully. There was just one little moment that we were I spotted the whole wild growth thing about milling a card, but it ended up not even mattering anyway. And I loved how you played the Warlock match. I mean, double giants is always a good feeling, but how you would taunt things, for example. It just showed kind of that next level thinking and really thinking about how your opponent's going to answer your board and stuff. And again, I was bragging about how much I love Miracle Rogue while you were playing it, and again, you did a beautiful job with how you used that deck and you got it there. So just overall, I was very impressed with all 3 of your decks and how you played with them. You did a really good job.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I used all of my skill to top deck that Vile Spine Slayer right after that backstab.
That's beautiful.
So pro-level Hearthstone strats are going on here.
I mean, even in the game against the Warlock where you were at the 1 life and you could see hovering over the Spreading Plague and the Wrath, and then looking down at the life total and realizing that you needed to heal yourself up to not die to the Dread Infernal, which O'Leary had 2 of in hand. I mean, obviously that match didn't work out, but even just like that level of, next level thinking and playing around likely ways to lose, which, with some of these decks that have just come out in like the last couple weeks, sometimes it's not, it's not easy to see those things, especially in a high pressure situation where you have a playoff berth on the line and you have to think about every possible out that they have for lethal. I think you did a really great job.
I do this really fun thing before every match where I put on like Fort Minor and Lincoln Park and then drink an energy drink, and then I get really anxious about the match, so I'm just like a shivering little ball of fried anxiety and energy. It's a really healthy thing that I do.
I was about to say, that sounds very healthy. Like, great way of coping with anything before a match.
50-50 shot, I stop one of these games and I'm just like dead over on a heart attack.
Yeah. By the way, this is why I'm on...
Say that.
This is why I'm on this side of the desk, by the way, because I know exactly what you're feeling, and I don't think that's very healthy for me either. So that's why I'm on this side of the desk, where the only thing that, that can happen is that Discord decides to start putting random black rectangles on the screen.
Yes. That's the worst that we have to deal with.
So I mean, so you know that you're going to be facing Andrew or Team Toast and one of O'Leary or Red Knight in the playoffs coming up. So, what are your thoughts on the playoffs? How are you thinking you're going to prepare? Obviously, you're not going to, we're not going to talk about the decks that you're going to pick right now, but what's your general thought process about how you're going to use like the next week or so to get yourself ready for that?
Man, I did not think I was going to make playoffs after last week, so that like hasn't been on my mind at all as far as like prep for playoffs. I guess the answer is play Hearthstone, if that works.
That's a good start.
Yeah, that's good.
Turn the game on, maybe dabble with some decks,
Yeah.
I want to, now that I have accomplished my main goal this season of going into making playoffs, I really want to kind of throw some experiments and really try and bring something people aren't expecting in the playoffs to really shine this whole UHL type thing.
Well, as long as if you throw, some Eternal Servitudes and some Shadow Essences, that'll be unexpected.
See, I'm not a worshiper of Satan, so I don't like Big Priest.
Well, hail Satan.
I love that.
So,
I also hate Big Priest, so...
as Rod says, rightfully, I'm a terrible person, and I stand by that.
No.
You just have a terrible aspect.
Just because I like terrible things,
it doesn't make me terrible, okay?
You can love me and hate my choices. It's fine. So anyone you want to, say thank you to, any, practice partners or people who helped you prep or anything like that, or, your ferret or whatever it happens to be.
Oh, ferret.
I don't know if you have a ferret. I'm assuming you have a ferret just because I made that up in my head. No, I just made that up in my head.
I don't.
You might have to buy one now that you made the playoffs.
Okay.
Now
No,
you're
that's fair.
Guy.
No, I would just say shout out to Rod for giving me encouragement and telling me that I can continue to do good work. And shout out to like everyone on Blizzlet and just like everybody that kept encouraging me that I could hypothetically do it. And that sounds really cheesy because it is, but there are a lot of people that I'm just very glad are in UHL and are supporting this whole endeavor. So thank you to everyone and everyone that came out to the stream, all those people.
Awesome. And where can people find you in Blizzlet on the interwebs?
Also, quick thank you to Amnesiac for creating very good decks so I could steal them.
Easy.
You can find Blizzlet on Twitter. We are at Blizzlet. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever. As always, it comes with an adult warning. Don't listen with kids. We talk about so many things that you don't want children listening to. Mostly about genitals. And Hearthstone. Sometimes Hearthstone.
Interesting mixture.
It works better than you think.
I'll take it.
And Steffi, where can people find you online when we're not talking about ferrets?
And other things. So you can find me on Twitter. I'm just SteffiHS with 3 E's at the end, as well as on Twitch. I'm also part of this phenomenal esports team, Team Swigoi, and you can find us on Twitter under Swigoi Gaming, Swigoi Gaming is on Facebook, Spoiled.com. So there's a lot of different places you can find us as well.
And as always, you can find me. I'm at Wicked Good on Twitter, and you can listen to my podcast Off Curve, offcurve.com. There are fewer genitals than on Blitzlet. I'm sorry. Which is to say 0, but you do get car noises and occasionally me honking it at people who are driving poorly in Massachusetts. So, and
that's a good trade-off.
Yeah, you get mass holes instead of genitals. It's great.
Nice.
Nice. I'll also remind you to come back tonight on Ridiculous Hat's channel, which I believe is twitch.tv/ridiculoushat, for him versus Ziggy Sarah. And then I believe at 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning, you will see Red Knight versus Karakute, where Red Knight tries to secure that 4th playoff spot that is now in contention between him and O'Leary. So come back for that. That is going to be... Karakute is a very tough competitor, so that is going to be a heck of a match. So on behalf of Storm Ragin and O'Leary and Steffi, I'm Wicked Good. Thank you for coming out, and have a great night.
Bye, everyone.
Love you. Bye-bye.